Hi, I'm Jordana Michelle, and over the last few weeks, I keep hearing from friends and clients about a way that they keep getting hurt by other women, and I think it's really important to talk about what this pattern is that keeps causing it, because it's really important, not only for ourselves so that we can avoid getting hurt in this way, but also so that we can avoid hurting other women this way, because it goes both ways. We're all queer women here, and when we date each other, not only do we want to avoid getting hurt by these things, but we want to avoid causing these problems, because we don't want to hurt people. It's a small community, and we all need each other to treat each other well and have the most healthy, wholesome group that we could possibly be, because we're living as a marginalized group in society, and we really want to be as good to each other as possible, and nurture ourselves and each other as much as possible, because that's what will lead to all of us having the most happiness and success overall as a group. So this is really important. So the pattern that I'm talking about here, and this has happened to a whole bunch of my friends, and also a whole bunch of my clients, is they've met a woman and they thought she was cool. They definitely were happy to have met her. They maybe had some degree of chemistry. But the woman, when they met her, was so much more intense and aggressive about pursuing the relationship than my friend or client would have been in the first place. But because of this woman's aggression, because of her intensity, because she was so passionately into her in this situation, all my friends had a feeling like, wow, this woman really wants me. I'm really safe here to open my heart. Even if they weren't kind of in a place where they would have necessarily fallen for this person on their own, the way that the woman was being so aggressive with her, the way that she was being so intense about it, the way that she was making her feel so wanted and so desired, and feeling like this is a relationship that's really available to my friend or my client, they said to themselves, you want to know what? Why not? And in that situation, they opened their hearts more than they normally would, and they totally fell for this woman, and then she's gone. Just like that, just gone. Not that she disappeared and never spoke to them again, but the relationship and the possibility of the relationship went off the table. Because here's the real truth. Early on in a relationship, early on when we first meet someone, like in the first few dates, we don't know the person yet. We can't possibly know in the first few dates who this other person is if we've never met her before. We don't know who she is, we don't know how she loves, we don't know what she's like, we don't know how we handle things together. It's just simply impossible to be sure about someone in those early stages enough to justify that level of aggression, where you kind of make someone feel like this is a place where love is available to you, and if you open your heart, I'll be here to love you, right? That message, it's a lie if you try and deliver that to someone in the early stages when you don't know them, because you don't know them. And so this is the pattern. My clients, my friends, they've met this woman. She's made them feel like this was a place where love and relationship was available to them, and they opened their hearts and she was gone. And I have a good friend of mine who I believe does this all the time to women. I mean, she is a lady killer. She'll meet someone, and I see her like every 2 or 3 months, let's say. And every time I see her, there's a new person that she's aggressively pursuing and thinking like, and coming up with all the different reasons why this is the relationship she's been waiting for. Because what she really wants is to be married with kids. But so when she is looking to meet someone, she really wants it to work, and she wants it to work fast, because she's afraid that maybe we're getting older, there's not as much time, so there's this pressure that she feels. So there's a pressure that she puts on every new relationship that she meets. So she'll meet a woman and she'll just go for her so hardcore, and then the next time I see her, she's sort of on to someone else, and I say, well, what happened to that other girl, or what happened to that other woman? What are you doing, or where is she? And oh no, it's fine, we're just we're gonna be friends, or it didn't work out, or she kind of brushes it over. But for me, I'm a love coach, I'm an empathetic person, and I'm thinking there's a whole other story on that girl's side. Who knows what she was feeling, Potentially she was in a situation where she met my friend seemed so intense about the relationship, and what happens to us in those situations, when someone's being so intense with their desire, when someone's being so intense with showing us that they want us, there's a sense that this is a place where I'm safe to open my heart. This is a place where I can find love. This is a place where even if they weren't that into you in the first place, right? If they weren't, maybe these girls weren't that into my friend, or when it happened to my other friends, the person that they were seeing who hurt them, they weren't that excited about them to begin with. But because the woman was so aggressive with her attention and so interested and so intense about her pursuit, they thought to themselves, I can open my heart more than I normally would, because the instinct that we have, the automatic instinct as women who want to love and who want to connect, we might think to ourselves, this is a place where I'm safe because this woman wants the relationship that I want, and so therefore she can give it to me and she can give me the relationship that I want and I'm safe here, and suddenly the heart opens, right? And that's what we need to look out for. It's that instinct. It's that thing in the brain that says, I'm safe here, this is a relationship I can have, and my heart is safe to open. It's actually the opposite. If she's being so aggressive, the real thing that our instinct instead could and should be saying, and what would keep us safer, is if instead our instinct said, this woman can't possibly know yet that she likes me as much as she's trying to say that she likes me, and even if she's trying to make me feel safe, and I'm not saying we should be jaded or like push her away. I think we should give people a chance. Aggressive people are aggressive people. I could be aggressive myself sometimes, but the important thing for us all to remember is that when this person can't possibly know yet, we're not yet safe. No matter how much they're trying to make us feel safe, no matter how much they're trying to have us give them her heart, we have to be really, really careful about it. So that's the first thing. The second thing to talk about is how we can make sure that we don't do this ourselves to other women. Because we are, for anyone who's single and lonely and looking for love, it is really easy to get super excited about someone when we first meet her. And for anyone who has a tendency to be aggressive, which I can relate to because when I want something, I go for it. When we have that tendency, this is something that we really need to be careful of because we don't want to hurt other women. This is a small community. We need to support each other. We're already a marginalized enough community, and the last thing we need is to be hurting each other and messing each other up emotionally and causing romantic scars, because we're all going to be dating each other. We're all going to be dating each other's exes. That's just how it goes, and we need to be really, really careful about this. But the thing is that when we're single and lonely, what can end up happening is we can start to get afraid that we're never going to find love. And when we fear that we're never going to find love, when we start to be afraid that we're never going to meet someone that we like, it's really easy to put a lot of pressure on dating. And it's really easy when we meet someone that we are attracted to put a lot of unnecessary extra pressure on it, and to feel like we really want to make sure it's going to work, right? Let's just say you've gone 10 months and you haven't met anyone you're attracted to, and then all of a sudden you meet someone attractive. There could be an instinct to want to really make sure that you make things work with that woman. But the thing that we need to realize is that underlying fear that we're never going to find love, that's a lie. The fear that we are going to end up alone is a lie, and it's a lie that hurts us every day because it's a terrible feeling to wake up in the morning and be afraid that we're never going to wake up next to someone that we love ever again. It's a horrible feeling. It's horrible to go to sleep at night thinking that we're never going to find someone. It's horrible to go out to bars focusing on who's not there and how we're not meeting the person we want, or to be trying to date and to feel frustrated that we're not finding someone. To focus on what we don't have is such an uncomfortable, unpleasant, and it's simply not a good way of thinking. The way that we need to think, and the thing we need to realize, is that love is real. Love is inevitable. There's no way you can be an open-hearted, good person in this world and go out and take advantage of opportunities and be the best person you can be and not find love. Because this world is just full of open-hearted, wonderful people who also want to love. The thing that stops us from finding love is when we freak out about it and we worry about it and we hurt other people because we're so freaked out about it. That's the sort of thing that can stop us from finding love, is pursuing the wrong people because we're so freaked out about it. So this fear of being alone is the thing that causes the intensity, which is what causes the aggression, which is what causes us to hurt other people if it ever happens. And it's also what causes us to get hurt when there's someone being aggressive with us and it's like, I wouldn't have even liked her in the first place, but I guess she's willing to give me this relationship that I so badly want. I guess I'll open my heart to her. So it all comes back to this fear of not finding love, which is a dangerous fear, and it's a lie. And it's a lie that is really prevalent in our community. I mean, if I go to any time I walk around to any of my lesbian friends, they'll always talk about how hard it is to meet someone. But you just don't need to say it that way, because that idea just perpetuates itself. I don't say that. I don't tell people that it's hard to meet people, and so I have an easier time meeting people. I don't have that problem because I refuse to have that idea be a part of my reality. And I think you should do the same. I think everyone should do the same, because not only will you have an easier time dating and you won't settle for nonsense when it happens, but also you can prevent yourself from causing the kind of harm and causing the kind of hurt that we're talking about here. So until next time, just keep remembering that hot lesbians are everywhere, that love is real, and that the woman of your dreams is on her way into your life in perfect timing. And I will see you in the next video.